hosts, Quixote and Lewis. Let's mark out.
Yes, y'all. Welcome to another episode 65, baby. 65. We are back on the Mark Wrestling Podcast. I'm your boy, Quixote, joined by the three-man band or the three booth. I don't know. We got to come up with something catchy. Lewis and Joel, what's up, fellas? What's up?
We're the three-man band. Yo, we are so far removed from the three-man band. I mean, two of those guys are former WWE champions.
Wild.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
True. Where's your boy Heath though? That's the thing. Is he doing anything?
I think he was an Impact
I think
for a little bit. I don't know where he is now.
God, damn Heath. I don't even know, man. That poor bastard. even Ginger's got something going on. You know, it's like even
right.
At least he's working somewhere.
He got kids.
He got kids, right?
We gotta get Lewis that shirt.
I got kids. Yes,
he's got a family.
He's got a family. Yo, if I find that shirt, Lewis, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna get that shirt.
Please do.
I'm gonna send that shirt. Fellas, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. We are here to bring you the hottest and latest in wrestling. And we got some stuff to talk about. We are coming off the heels of from what people are saying, an extremely violent All Out, which for those who are soft and can't take violence, it is professional wrestling, for Christ's sake. I didn't find anything wrong with it, but All Out turned out to, they overachieved, bro. They definitely overachieved, man. Lewis, let's start with you, man. All Out, Chicago, great crowd. Looked packed. They were able to light the joint. They were able to take different camera angles finally. And the crowd was pretty solid with it. What's your take on All Out? Are the people overreacting with the violence, Lewis? Was it that bad?
I got a lot to say on this, so brace yourselves. First and foremost, with the violence aside and the polarizing reaction in the internet wrestling community and all the pundits and all that, All Out, like you said, overachieved and over-delivered. I did not expect All Out to be that. I mean, I knew it was going to be solid, but it turned out to be a wildly entertaining pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go down as one of the more memorable pay-per-views that AEW has ever put out, and part of that is because of the crazy spots. Mm-hmm. But make no mistake, we got some great pure wrestling in there. Shout out to Will Ospreay. My goodness.
Dude.
Will Ospreay and Pac put on AEW's basically another match of the year candidate for AEW. This year in 2024, this is why Will Ospreay was such a big signing for Tony Khan. He has now had three match of the year candidate matches in the past 3 months. He had the one with Swerve at Forbidden Door, the one with MJF, that 1 hour Broadway on Dynamite, and now this joint with Pac. That's a testament to, those are three different opponents, three different styles of working in the ring, three different characters. That's a testament to Ospreay, man. Like, he is, if he's not in your top 5 right now globally, I don't know what you're smoking or what you're sipping on, but you have got to give this man credit where it's due. I'm serious, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Real serious shout out to Will Ospreay. Phenomenal, really phenomenal stuff. But the pay-per-view overall was very good. I want to give another special shout out to two women in particular, Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. I think they,
for real.
I think they put on a hell of a match.
Shocking, though. I was a little shocked by the match. I wasn't expecting much. I really wasn't.
Really?
No, I don't think most people were. I mean, I thought it was going to be pretty good, but damn, again, they over-delivered. I think they delivered one of the best women's matches in the company's history. And you could say, well, because they relied on the thumbtacks and all the hardcore spots. But let's face it, Willow's a good worker and Chris is a good worker. So they knew how to tell a story. The feud was already brewing there, and Willow's just so good, man. There's something so charming about that woman. She's so charismatic. She's got a great smile. Like, she's just likable. Like, I don't know how you can hate her, but in any case, great match. Now, let's talk about the ultra violence.
Yes, man.
So,
let's get to it.
Look, I'm gonna give a brief shout out to my father-in-law. He does not watch wrestling. He doesn't care for wrestling, but he did once watch wrestling back during the Bob Backlund and Bruno Sammartino days, just to give you context. So he's just sitting there watching the main event, and he's genuinely shocked. I mean, he's like, "What in the world? The cinder blocks, the wooden stake, but then the syringe," and he's just like, I thought they took this way too far. I mean, but he doesn't know the history of like ECW and all of that, because we've had hardcore wrestling. But he posed a great question, which I want to pose to the two of y'all, which is, how far is too far in pro wrestling? So Swerve got the hypodermic needle in his mouth.
Oh man!
But earlier in the night, John Moxley tried to commit murder by he suffocated, or at least tried to suffocate Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, he tried to kill him
with a fucking plastic bag.
He legit tried to kill him. Yeah,
I was a little bewildered by what I was watching. I was like, "Yo, this is fucking disturbing, bro." Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the film Copycat with Susan Sarandon from the 90s. Yeah. That's exactly what it reminded me of. That infamous scene with the bag, like, that shit's graphic. So for me, I thought it went a tad too far with the bag spot and the needle spot with the syringe. Mm-hmm. However, everything else I was okay with, because it was just hardcore wrestling. Yeah. Wade Keller wasn't a fan of it because hardcore wrestling is not a thing for him.
Yeah.
And that's respectable. I like hardcore wrestling in doses. I don't like to watch hardcore gimmicky shit all the time, because then it devalues it, and it's the law of diminishing returns, right? If I see thumbtacks every week on TV and barbed wire and shit like that, it's not gonna have the same effect.
Yep,
but
I agree.
What do y'all think, man? Thoughts
Joe,
on the pay-per-view, and what do you think of the violence?
Yeah, Joe, what's your thoughts, man? Any matches stand out? Were you grossed out by the violence? were you appalled? Cancel AEW? I was hearing, like, come on, guys, come on.
I mean, definitely, I agree with all of Lewis's sentiments when it comes to the quality of the matches. We had some really good matches that night. The ones you mentioned, and also Garcia and MGF. I think they definitely, that was another attempted injury or murder with the pile driver off the second rope or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was another violent time. But I think, I don't know, like with Hangman and Swerve, I feel like they needed to go far.
Yeah.
So like, it might have been too far, the syringe thing. And I wasn't a fan of the spot because I feel like it doesn't really psychologically make sense. Like what is, unless we find out later that there was like some sort of like numbing agent or something.
Exactly. That's what I was telling to Lewis. Is there poison in that damn thing? Like, come on, man.
I don't get apparently I forgot. I heard somewhere that the spot from like death matches in the past is that you stick it all the way through the cheek and then you squirt whatever's in it out, and it's like a cool visual that makes everybody freak out, like but they didn't get it all the way through, so it kind of like failed a little bit.
Look at that. Yep.
But at that. Still, I don't know if that really, like, it doesn't seem like something that like would hurt after all of these other things that you did, like dropping someone on a cinder block and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think it was still cool. The bag spot was uncomfortable because I felt like it went on for way too long. And I was like, is he really dying? Like, I'm like, are we watching like legit murder? He was like trying to get out. Obviously, everyone's active, but like, there didn't seem to be many holes in that bag. So I'm like, how is he bleeding right now?
It looked like Bryan Danielson was trying to like rip a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It does have like it gave me like flashbacks to like Bloodline storyline stuff, like the way that Wheeler Yuta was like this. I feel like this is how Bloodline would be if there was no rules in WWE, right? Like when they would symbolize like murder in the Bloodline by like a chair shot and ripping off the ulafalas and the red meat going everywhere. I feel like this is their version of it, where it's like you see Wheeler Yuta like crying, trying to reach to Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
He's just fucking choking. So it was a cool visual spot, but it did go on for a little bit too long, and I was like, this is a little scary. And then I did see today, I think actually, Mercedes put up like a little blog about it, and she mentioned how like she would hate for her little brother to see something like that, and I was like, damn, that's kind of true. Like I didn't think about like if I was a kid watching that back in the day, I'd be like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So it was a little far spot, but also it's pay-per-view. Like I feel like you kind of get those like rules, those network TV rules get thrown out the window when it's pay-per-view. You're usually as an adult that's buying this, so it's like, yeah, whatever. Let's go balls to the wall.
If you're AEW, you just can't do that all the time. That's all. You just can't do that all the time. I didn't mind it, but you're right. It did go on a little too long, right? Like he's just Moxley's just holding him down with the bag, and there's no movement from Bryan Danielson. It just went on too long. It was like 15 seconds of just like trying to suffocate him and let him go.
And those 15 seconds looked and felt like 5 minutes. It's like
at least 2 minutes, at least 2 solid minutes of him like legit choking him out.
I would not want my kids to watch that spot.
No.
Well, maybe Tate, because he's 10. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, hopefully he knows better, right? Like he knows better.
He's like, whatever, he'll figure it out.
But the one thing that people were saying, like, it wasn't a cool spot because at the end of the day, you had the crowd cheer saying this is murder. Like it was one of those situations where the crowd started to kind of make fun of it because it's just not believable, right? We are not going to sit up here and believe that you are going to kill Daniel Bryanson, right? Right? Or Bryan Danielson, so it was what it was. Went on a little too long, but again, a pay-per-view that just really over-delivered in a very short amount of time, coming off the heels of like their WrestleMania, essentially 50,000 plus. And that was a solid show itself. I got to give it up for AEW, man. They pulled it off. And and the reason why they pulled it off in this pay-per-view specifically is that coming into All In, they already had multiple storylines within storylines, so that it just bled into All Out, and they made sense. Just coming up with 7 matches that nobody cares about in a pay-per-view in 2 weeks, people would have. I mean, I'm sure they would have delivered wrestling wise, but it would have been like, did we really need this? That sort of thing. But I got Lewis, fellas, I got to tell you, the sleeper of the night, Willow and Statlander, the sleeper match of the night. Again, like I said, I was not expecting anything from that match. I like both. I like both of them. I think Statlander is a little fine too. I don't know. There's something creepy and interesting about Statlander. There's like a dark, there's like a dark galaxy thing. I don't know. She's got going on. I don't know. And then Willow's so cute. She's cute. She's bubbly. She's nice. And they both can work, man. They both can work. So I think that was my sleeper of the night. If I had to pick one, I missed the MJF and Danny Garcia match. I heard that was
good match.
I heard that was very good.
That was a good match.
But I missed that. But any ones beside your top 2 stick out? Like, were there any sleepers for you? Like the Statlander and Willow?
Honestly, the other matches that we haven't mentioned so far were kind of like lackluster. Like they were just there. So it was Mercedes and Hikaru Shida, which was a pretty good match, but it was like kind of by the numbers. It was almost like a TV match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was decent.
then the tag title match, I just felt like there wasn't really any like you're not gonna believe that the BCC is gonna beat the Young Bucks. So going into that match, I was just like, and they already have the trios titles, so it's like it kind of made no sense, that match. So it was kind of like forgetful. And then the other match was the Fatal 4-Way with Okada. And that's another match. It was pretty good, but I knew Okada was going to win that. Like, he's not losing that title in a multi-man match.
Yeah,
like,
there's no way
he's going to put somebody over when he loses.
Yeah, there's no way Okada's losing that. And I think he will lose that match or that title to Takeshita. I think Takeshita needs to go over big time, man.
Yo, when they have that match, that is going to be a banger.
Yeah, man.
I hope
like
so.
the both of them are gonna go, man.
Yeah,
like,
I hope
seriously.
so. I hope so.
The crowd
because-
was hot when they were facing off in the ring alone. Just them two. The crowd got hot.
Yeah, man.
Everybody knows. Everybody wants that match.
Exactly, Joe. Because everybody wants it. We're waiting patiently for Tony to be like, "Yo, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it now."
He's
And
cooking though.
He's good. Yeah, listen, I don't mind waiting, but I do feel Takeshita coming off the G1. I think he needs that major push to be like, all right, this is going to be our guy, and he can go face, he can go heel. I think he's got it all, man. He can't really talk on the mic, right? But everything else is solid. So
he's an incredible worker.
Incredible,
Amazing.
man. Incredible worker.
They did announce for next week's Dynamite. It's gonna be Okada and the Bucks versus Takeshita, Ospreay, and Fletcher. That's a fucking banger match.
That's
yeah.
And that's going to be at the Grand Slam, right?
No, that's next.
That's
next week. Yeah, next week's Dynamite. Grand Slam is 2 weeks.
Oh, right. Now, speaking of Grand Slam, they changed some matches around. Apparently, they, which is random. Like they took away the Bryan Danielson and Darby Allin match, and now have a Bryan Danielson versus who is it? Who am I?
Nigel
McGuinness, which I ain't mad
which
at.
is crazy.
Yeah,
McGuinness.
right. That's gonna make the crowd the crowd in attendance is gonna.
Oh,
yeah,
100%.
Those are two ROH legends.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got Darby and Moxley, which should be interesting. Now, here's the thing, guys. Right, and I'm going to throw this to you guys. Here's the thing, and this is not even the matches. I don't even really care that they did this. What I care about is the optics of Grand Slam in the Louis Armstrong Arena, and they can barely sell out. I'm sorry, Arthur Ashe. Sorry about that.
I'm
Arthur
like
Ashe.
Louis Armstrong.
I'm like, where's the Louis Armstrong Arena?
Yo, I want some of what you hitting on.
I thought there was a Louis something Armstrong. What the hell am I thinking about? Damn,
I'm sure he has an arena somewhere, but
yeah, I know, right? But not in Queens.
Damn, the Arthur Ashe. Arthur Ashe. I don't even know where I came up with that name. I mixed Lewis and somebody else's name. Yeah, the Arthur Ashe. They're struggling. The optics for this past Wednesday, just there were empty seats in the lower bowl. When the lights were flashing on them, you saw them. How in the hell are they going to do that in Arthur Ashe? That place is massive. I just wonder how it's going to look and if it's going to be the crowd they need for these two big time banger matches, guys. What's your thoughts, Lewis? Joe? What's your thoughts?
I mean, they typically do well for Grand Slam in terms of selling tickets. Now, obviously, their peak when they first did Grand Slam, that very first year when you had that classic match between Kenny and Bryan. Yeah. But I mean, Grand Slam is already one of those premier events that AEW runs annually. So the fans already know to expect that, well, it's a bigger venue and you're most likely going to get matches announced like 2-3 weeks out. So that'll increase ticket sales. So I think they'll be fine in that regard. Like they'll probably avoid some camera angles, but I think it'll be a good turnout. So I'm not really concerned about that. I'm concerned about how the visuals look on a weekly basis because Dynamite that looked terrible last night. I gotta say, like Dynamite this week looked terrible. Not that the show was terrible, but
no, the show
like
was
you're
good.
saying, like the optics, the visually, it like the dimly lit shit is like no.
It's whack.
Like if you want primetime live pro wrestling every week, like put it this way, watch a match from an AEW Dynamite in 2024 and compare that to AEW in 2021. And you're going to see a huge difference in crowd reaction, crowd attendance, wider shots. The lighting was better in the arenas.
Mhm.
It's just like night and day now.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where I think there should be some talks, some internal talks, being like, "Lo, maybe we should go into smaller, not we're not talking high school gyms, but smaller arenas that listen, I hope it doesn't get to high school gyms.
What the fuck, man? If high school gyms,
if it
we're
gets
in
to high
trouble.
school gyms, AEW is about to get bought. They're about to get bought big time.
Yo, I will cough up the money and buy AEW if it gets to that point.
Listen, man, they'll give you a deal. They're like, listen, give me a couple of $100. You could have the naming rights and everything. You could have it all. But Joe, what do you think, man? What it's kind of a mixed bag of a question. Like, the matches that we're possibly going to get at Grand Slam, mixed with the lack of in arena attendance, bro.
Yeah.
And it's not wrestling, period, because WWE is selling out.
Oh no, yeah,
it's AEW specifically.
Yeah, WWE selling out, and their prices are higher than ever, which is crazy.
Wild, bro. And they're planning to do less shows.
Yeah, which means their prices are going to go even higher, probably.
Yeah, man.
I don't even know how people are affording them.
No,
it's crazy.
But I think with AEW, like Lewis said, I think they probably should think about scaling down. And I think it's kind of like you said, if you watch an AEW episode from 2021 and then you compare it to now, it's like totally different look. They got the LEDs now. They're trying to be like, I don't know when they did that change, like maybe last year or whatever, where they just started putting LEDs everywhere. And I'm like, I feel like that was a mistake, because now they're like WWE light in terms of their presentation.
Right.
And I think that hurts them when you see the emptier crowd, because you're expecting to see a WWE style crowd because they have the presentation, they have the LED boards, they have everything. Even the apron has LEDs and all this stuff now. So it's like they're trying to be that big thing, but they're not yet. So it would be great if they were to scale down the production a bit, like make it more grittier, get these smaller venues and sell those out. And then also they need to stop running these weird ass locations, bro. Yesterday they were like somewhere in Kentucky or something. The crowd was super trash. They were doing what chants. They were like doing all that crazy annoying crap that crowds be doing, trying to get themselves over. And then also with Grand Slam, Lewis brought up a good point of Grand Slam being an annual thing, and I think that also hurts them a little bit, because we see with All In, you see the difference when they went from 85,000 or whatever the hell the number was that they had to 50,000, which is still nothing to scoff at. But I feel like if you were to wait 5 years before you run London again, and then you ran London, you probably would get close to that 80,000 again. But you're gonna do it every year, people are gonna stop going. Especially Queens is not Arthur Ashe Stadium is not an easy place to get to. Nah, you got to take the 7 train or whatever the hell. Like, nobody wants to take the 7 train ever.
Joe, let me tell you, it's one of the worst arenas to get to.
Exactly.
Right. Driving and public transportation.
Yeah,
I've heard
terrible parking too.
Terrible parking. It's sketchy as hell. You got to walk across a dark lit bridge to get back to your car at like 11 p.m.
Yeah,
they got cops it's the worst. It's the worst. The worst. I agree.
Damn.
It's the worst.
And to go, I think so that first year they ran it where they had Omega and Danielson, it was like 20,000 people, I think. And I think now the most recent number I saw for this Grand Slam this year, I think they're capping it at like 5,000. So it's going to be a way smaller.
God.
Like they're going to, that's what I saw at least.
It's very.
I don't know if they're going to open up more with these new match announcements. They're going to open up more seats to see if they could sell them out, but.
Well, fellas, it's very interesting you mentioned that, Joe, because I'm looking at the map plan for Dynamite at Arthur Ashe Stadium, and they're not selling tickets on one whole side of the place. One whole section of Arthur Ashe is going to be completely empty. And that place is massive, so it's gonna sound cavernous, like unless they keep the dome open, which I don't know if they will or not. But I'm looking at the prices of tickets, and they ain't bad. Like the middle bowl is like going for 75, like 45 to 75. The lower joints on the floor, I could get a ticket right now for $182 on the floor. On the floor.
Damn.
Yeah, their ticket. I'm looking at the low bowl 120, 110. Yo, the tickets.
Shit, I'm about to book a flight.
We all out.
Yeah, we're all yeah, man. Like this, the tickets are mad afford. They got a bunch of ticket sales on Ticketmaster.
Yeah,
it's like wholesale tickets right now. Like it's crazy. But this is what's happening, man. Is it?
I do. Just real quick, I do think they are noticing this as well, because I think All In has already been announced for Texas next year, right? So they're not going back to London, at least for that event. And then I think Grand Slam next year is in Australia. I think they announced it
next February.
Yeah, so I guess
Australia.
they're realizing that they can't run the same venue every year for the same event, because people are going to get tired of it.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Makes no sense. And they're still trying to broaden where they're going, right? Like they're still trying to get relationships with some of these arenas and stuff like that. They haven't even seen half the arenas that they could be going in. But is the market there full for even filling up 30% of the arena? Like the arena? It's wild. I'm looking at the whole thing. They're not offering tickets on the very top at all. And they're only offering tickets on one side in the middle bowl and on the floor. That's all they're offering.
Damn.
That is.
I ain't gonna lie. If I still lived in New York with those ticket prices, I'd probably make an attempt to go.
I mean, listen, I'm thinking about it. I'm really thinking about it, like to get an aid. And if you wait like to the day of, these might be slashed in half.
Yeah.
So
the both of y'all should go and get some footage and represent on the mark, and
Joe,
because in-person perspective is different from TV perspective.
Dude, I'm thinking about it. This is high on my list right now of things to think about. But yeah, man, this is the live event scene in AEW, and they really got to think about some things. It's interesting. Yeah, they got to really think about some things. But Lewis, we've come to the part of the show where you will deliver the administrator's report.
So, was I supposed to get music queued up?
Yeah. Hold on.
Did we pull an AEW?
We did pull an AEW. Wait, hold on. I got something for you.
Oh man.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. I get the swoosh.
Yes. Yeah.
So, all right. It is now time for the administrator's report, and it's good. We got some good news.
Wait a minute.
Okay. So, AEW Dynamite netted a total viewership of 716,000. Let's give a round of applause for Tony Khan and company.
Wow. Yeah, let's give it up for them. That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, that is a pretty substantial increase from the 660,000 viewers from the previous week.
Yeah.
It's not like record-breaking numbers or anything like that. And I think we've all come to the conclusion that AEW is pretty much averaging 700,000 to 800,000 this year. It is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. But one thing that I was reading on was the fact that, one, it was the All Out from a very buzzworthy pay-per-view, right? But also the thing that Jon Moxley is doing right now is catching the attention of a lot of people because you don't know where it's going. Yeah. He's going rogue, essentially recruiting, some people and just going around fucking people up. And I just love that tagline. That promo was excellent, where he's like, I'm choosing war over diplomacy. Yeah. Like this company belongs to us now. And I think that's fantastic. If they can keep the ball rolling with that, I expect nothing less than an increase in viewership and just an increase in general interest in the product. So the administrator takes my hat off to Tony Khan and company.
Nice.
Keep up the good work, folks.
That's a good report from you, Lewis. I was expecting something like trash, like oh man, it's getting darker and darker in AEW. they've now netted 600,000 even, just 600.
Oh Lord,
not 601,
no.
not 602. I was expecting something terrible, but
listen, the administrator gave them a week to
week?
go and fix their shit up.
Yeah.
And now they produce results. So I hope to keep up the good work. I don't like the administration doesn't like to be concerned, folks.
Listen, Lewis.
I don't like it.
I agree, man. That's a solid take. Now, listen. Now, with AEW's ratings this week being solid, what do we think of this Moxley? I'm very intrigued. Rumors are going crazy, right?
Yeah.
Could it be Shane's the leader? Could it be just a new faction? Like, could it just be just a brand new faction? And they're just running roughshod all over the AEW roster. Like, where do you think we're going with this? Can you tell right now at this point? Joe, what do you think?
Honestly, I can't really tell, and that's what makes it intriguing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Lewis that promo was amazing. That was like a masterclass. That was old school John Moxley, like when he would be in CCW in the parking lot, just give me a mic and a camera. I'm gonna just talk, and that's what made him famous back then in the Indies. His talking was what made him famous. Yeah. And it feels like they're finally giving him that character, because he hasn't really had a character in AEW. When you really think about it, he's kind of just been like almost like a rogue, like just come in, kick somebody's ass, win a title, keep doing my shit, and that's it. But this whole like character arc is really intriguing. I feel like it's giving him like that run of like almost like Roman's tribal chief or Seth's architect or whatever you want to, like the visionary to Seth. Yeah. Like, I feel like this is his standout motion out of those three Shield guys, because he hasn't really had like because in WWE he got put into like a comedy, right, lunatic fringe or whatever the hell they used to call him.
Some trash.
Yeah, and then in the AEW, like I said, he's kind of just been like a rogue. I'm gonna kick your ass and I'm gonna leave, and that's it. But this type of character, if they could keep this going, and I love Marina Shafir as like his muscle. That's so different, having like a woman as your muscle, and she's pretty kick ass. Like you believe that she could kick any of these dudes' asses that she's kicking into.
I gotta give it to her. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. I'm really intrigued with what happens with Wheeler Yuta too, because he didn't show up yesterday. So I'm like, is he gonna be on Danielson's side? Where's that going? But yeah, I mean, I think what I'm understanding and picking up from the story, it has to do with the BCC. So there is going to be some type of Blackpool Combat Club, like war or something, because he kept mentioning Regal without mentioning Regal, but he was like our leader and our mentor. Like he kept saying that stuff. So I'm like, it has to tie into that somehow, but I don't know where it's going at all, and that's what makes it exciting for sure.
Yeah, for real.
How about you, Lewis? What do you think, man? Where do you think this is going, man? What's Mox
shit?
Up?
I agree with every single thing that Streaming Joe just said. The best thing, and I've said this repeatedly, the best angles in wrestling are the ones that you can't call from a mile away. Yeah. Right? Because wrestling is at its best when it's unpredictable. Because we all know it's a work, but when you really can't book it and play fantasy booking in your head, and you can't pinpoint where it's going, where the end game is, that's what makes pro wrestling fantastic. So I'm loving this angle, and I don't like when they give dead giveaways. We literally do not know where this is going. So, and on top of that, John Moxley looks phenomenal. Is it just me, or that he looks like he's right? And he hasn't even taken his shirt off. Yep. I'm like, take it off. Take it off.
Me and Lewis are representing the new faction with the new way.
That's good.
I noticed that, man. I think I smell a turn. Okay,
you might there might be a turn. You may not see me this week.
I think Joe and I are choosing war over diplomacy here. All right.
I can't even log into this damn thing anymore. Yeah. It could be a turn, guys. It could be a turn. Man. This is intriguing, and like you guys said, like Joe said, also like the one piece of this that's really intriguing is the Marina Shafir, right? I've trashed Marina Shafir for years. I thought she was trash in the beginning. I thought she couldn't wrestle. I thought there was no natural anything to her. This is right in the pocket she needs to be in. Like no nonsense, mean mug, beating people up, and standing by Moxley's side. That's all I need you to do. Right? I don't need you to stretch. I don't need you to be creative and be artsy. And I want to just stretch my acting. No. I don't want to do that. No. You're getting paid to be the muscle. And all I need you to do is just kind of be right. Just stand right in that spot. That's just right in that spot. And then the addition of Pac, which is very interesting. He's like he's like the off the rocker, the unhinged kind of guy. Like he's the one who can go off in the group. Along with Moxley. Moxley's a little more controlled, though. He's the more wild card, which I do like. And the silent killer, which is Claudio. It just kind of works, man. I have no clue what they're doing, but I like that we're getting nuggets every week. We're getting nuggets.
And they're doing a really good job of like steering it in multiple directions, so you don't know where it's going. Because like I'm thinking back now, so they had the promo yesterday. And they were talking about the egos taking over AEW. There's too many egos. I think Pac said something similar too. But then I think the week before, Moxley ran into Jungle Boy backstage and he was like, you know what? I like you, kid. Or something like that. So it's like, because I thought he was talking about going after the Elite originally. Because he's like, this is not your company anymore. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, he's talking to the EVPs. But then he sees Jack Perry and he's like, I like you. And he just walks right up past him. So I'm like, where are they going with this? It's very intriguing. It kind of does point to that Shane McMahon thing. Right. And I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna work, but if it might be.
Yo, if Shane shows up and
Grand Slam,
he's got to. But Shane's got to be. I don't want to see corny Shane. Like I don't want to see that. I want to see like a whole different Shane. That's the only way this is gonna work. And people are going to take him seriously. Like it's got to.
Want to see the rabbit punches?
Nah, man. I don't want to see the rabbit punches. The here comes the money. No. I don't want to hear or see any of that. I want a dark, evil Shane. That's what I want. That's where he's got to be if this is going to work. Speaking of dark and evil, closing out the show before we close out, the McMahon documentary on Netflix. Is coming out, I believe, next week. I think it's a next week thing. And they put out like a little, I guess you would call it a trailer or a teaser or whatnot. I am very intrigued now.
I can't wait to see it.
It's getting so much buzz that my wife wants to watch it. That's how that she was like, yo, don't watch that. I wanna watch this.
Yeah.
Because he's the biggest enigma in entertainment. Like you don't know who he really is. You get the TV version, you think it might be him, but then maybe it's not. People say it is. People say he's worse. Like you just never know or knew who he was, and I'm very intrigued. What you guys think?
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it. I always like a good documentary, especially when it's about a subject as enigmatic and interesting and controversial as McMahon. I mean, Vince McMahon is Vince McMahon. He's got there are dozens upon dozens of stories from other people about Vince. But what I'm really looking forward to, because we've seen multiple documentaries since we were kids, right? Like with DVD sets and docuseries on the WWE network or what have you. But I'm really interested in seeing everything that's transpired in the last 5 years in Vince McMahon's life and how everything just started spiraling downward, right? Like this whole Janelle Grant thing. She's not in the documentary, obviously, but that when it gets to that part, that's going to get pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And it might get downright uncomfortable because that's something that we're still living with because nothing has been resolved. He hasn't been officially indicted or anything like that. He hasn't been arrested. So, this is going to be a documentary for the ages.
Yeah, it's going to rock the wrestling world. It's going to rock it.
Yeah,
what do you think, Joe?
Yeah, same. Like it's going to be one of those things that I think we're going to talk about probably for a long time after.
Yeah,
because we never really gotten like that deep into Vince. Like I think that's one of the things that every wrestling fan has kind of always wanted to know. Like, what makes this guy tick? What are all these stories about him? Like, someone sneezing in a meeting and he kicks them out or fires them. Like, are these real, or is this just the legend of Vince McMahon, right? Or like the fact, what was it? He doesn't like burritos. There's all these random things that you heard about over the years, but no one has ever actually gotten it from the source.
Yep.
So it should definitely be interesting. Just to know. I mean, you can't deny. At the end of the day, he is probably the most prolific character and person in professional wrestling history. So
1,000%.
It's going to be something that,
no doubt.
It's going to live for the ages. So I can't wait to see it. Hopefully, it's not too much of a fluff or like they try to like hide things or anything, because we all know it's the real. But
I mean, people want to talk about GOAT lists and Mount Rushmore lists, like. Vince McMahon, yes, post Ruthless Aggression era, he kind of took the company in a really stupid direction. But Vince McMahon is the GOAT when it comes to pro wrestling / sports entertainment.
Oh yeah,
look,
I don't think that's even an argument.
Come on, man! Like, we would not have had 2 golden eras of pro wrestling if it wasn't for Vince McMahon. Yes, WCW was part of that second golden era because it forced Vince McMahon to get in his creative bag and be better. But like Joel said, like, this man's character on screen is just iconic. You had never seen an evil boss like that in wrestling, you know, where he's like feuding with his family, where he's like doing all of this outrageous shit.
It was crazy.
I mean, he's the mastermind behind WrestleMania, for crying out loud. Like, Vince McMahon is the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Like he is. He just
100%. He's the reason why these towns and these cities, these big cities like Philly, Milwaukee, all these places want WrestleMania. London, they want it. They're coming to WWE saying, "Hey, we want to host you in this city." They're coming to them. It is crazy, and I'm very interested. I hope, like Joel said, it's not a bunch of fluff. I need some. I need to know things I don't know. Like we've heard some stuff already. I
don't want to hear the WWE history version.
Yeah,
we've seen that so many times.
Nah.
I don't want to hear about how there was never a sellout wrestling crowd until Vince McMahon. Like, shut up. We know that's a lie.
Yeah, that's definitely cap.
But that's what they be saying on the network all the time.
All cap. I don't want to even hear that. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. But yeah, fellas, this has been another great episode getting to you guys. Episode 65. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, where you can find our shorts now and all that good stuff. This has been good, fellas. Any last words before we close out?
Well, it's somewhat last words. I don't want to veer off into another topic, but something that we'll get into on the next episode is this interesting move of Raw going to 2 hours for the remainder of the year. So that's to be continued, but I think that's worth discussing in full depth.
Yeah, that came out of this past Monday. They just popped it on us out of nowhere. Tessa Tor said it in passing, like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Raw's going to 2 hours until the end of the year," and people are saying, that was a USA thing, not a WWE thing. That was a USA saying to them, "Hey, we got some," because USA for the first time in a long time has some original programming. They want to premiere. They want to see how it does on all that stuff. So they need some time. So they want to do that, and then this will give WWE a chance to kind of see if the 2 hours things works and see how that translates to Netflix, which is going to be here faster than we think. Which I can't wait. That is going to be must see TV for me. I'm gonna. That's
for sure.
But yeah, that 2 hour move should be interesting. Yeah, should be interesting, y'all. But thank y'all for joining. This is episode 65. I'm your boy Coyote, and joined by Lewis and Joel. The 3-man. We gotta come up with that's all a working title, y'all.
3-man band.
Yeah, 3-man band. But until next time, y'all. Peace.
You've been listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, a Scriptly adapted production. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at On the Mark Wrestling, and email us at onthemarkpodcast@gmail.com.